When you hear the word design, do you think that refers to how things look? If so, that's a big problem, and in this video I'm going to give you a simple framework to solve this problem in the context of web design. Hello, I'm Shane Milat from Thrive Themes, and our tagline is conversion-focused WordPress tools, and the conversion focus is the important part there. We started Thrive Themes because we saw a problematic bias in the world of WordPress themes and templates, and that is a bias towards the presentation layer of design. So here's a simple framework that I want to give you to better understand and to think about how you design your own website, your landing pages, and so on. Design is actually mostly, or it should be mostly, about the way things work, about the purpose of things. And the way they look is a side effect of how they work, plus it's a presentation layer on top of how something works. So once you have the functionality down, you can put a presentation layer on top of it to make it look nice. And before you think that this is just my opinion, think about it. You really never want the function of something to serve the presentation layer. So if you have, let's say, a chair, you don't really want a chair that looks really nice but is super uncomfortable that you don't want to sit in. And it should be the other way around. You should have a chair that is primarily fulfills its function, is comfortable, is nice to sit in, and then also has a nice presentation. The same is of course true for a website. What we see in WordPress is that most themes and most templates are all about that presentation layer. It's all about eye candy, and it totally forgets about the function of a website. Now, if you're designing a complex product or a user interface, then getting the function of it right can be really difficult. But we're in luck when it comes to things like websites and landing pages because of two things. First of all, we can rely on what are called prototypical designs. So there are designs that we can rely on that the people recognize this is how a website generally works. This is how I find my way around a website. And we can basically copy what people expect. And I'll link to some sources below that show that you should not be reinventing the wheel when it comes to the function of a website. So we can rely on what we already know works, and then we can just focus on making sure that the presentation layer doesn't get in the way of that. Second, it needs to be navigable. It needs to be easy for a visitor to find their way around your website, especially if it's a website with many pages, many categories, many things to see. It should be as easy as possible for a visitor to figure out where they are in the context of your whole website and find their way around. And third, it should be as easy and seamless as possible for visitors to go from where they are now to the next step in the conversion funnel. So whatever that is, it should be easy for a visitor to become a subscriber. It should be easy for a subscriber to become a customer or a member. It should be easy to go from whatever page someone is to the next step in the checkout process. And whatever those steps are through the funnel, that should be as easy and frictionless as possible. So those are the three functions that you can focus on with whatever you're building. Clear messaging, easy navigation, and a frictionless process to the next step in the funnel. When this functionality, once these three things are in place, only then should you start worrying about the presentation layer, about how does it look, what's the eye candy like, and whatever the eye candy does, you should always make sure that it doesn't get in the way of any of these three pillars of the function of your website. So there you go. That is my simple framework for how to think about designing websites and pages. And so even just keeping in mind this idea that the design should always be about function first and the presentation layer second will help you build better pages than your competition. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, so leave a comment below, and also a link to our website review posts where you can see us apply these basic principles to many different websites and give suggestions for how to improve many different websites in many different markets and niches.